Father Antonio Moreno, S.J., President of the Jesuit Conference of Asia Pacific, Father Rio Mursanto, S.J., Rector of Arupe International Residence Community, Father Manuling Francisco, S.J., of the Tanging Yaman Foundation, Father Ted Gonzalez, S.J., Prefect of Human Formation of the Arupe International Residence, Jesuit theologians of Arupe from Asia Pacific, and to the members of the Jesuits in Formation and the Loyola School of Theology. Good morning and thank you for inviting me to join you today. Hello also to everyone who is listening to us via Facebook Live. Amid a pandemic that limited our capacity to come together, gatherings like this, even online, are not only important, they are also small victories in themselves, giving us a sense of stability as we slowly reclaim our lives from this crisis. COVID-19 has disrupted nearly all aspects of our lives. I am sure you in the academe and the church know this, because even our schools and places of worship were not spared. Places where we used to come together as a community to find strength in God and in each other. Many traditional school and church activities had to be temporarily suspended, including in some places, the work of ministering to the poor and homeless. Fissures old and new are surfacing in society, attacking the rights and dignities of those in the margins. Poverty and inequality are pressing even harder upon our most vulnerable communities. And as we continue to grapple with the impact of this pandemic, we also had to face powerful typhoons over the recent weeks, leaving many people dead and causing massive destruction in our communities. Amid all these challenges, it would have been easy to be paralyzed by fear and anxiety, to stay within our comfort zones and islands of self-interest, to hunker down and wait for the storm to pass. But here you are instead, putting in the work to improve yourselves and reflect on the signs of the times, taking part in reimagining and forging a better future for all. Here you are, changing the narrative by sharing stories of hope at a time when we need it the most. Hope is a powerful thing. It changes lives, drives the fulfillment of dreams, and charts the course of entire nations. Hope gives us the courage to change our reality so that the aspirations that we thought were unreachable become more visible in the horizon. Hope, however, is not merely dreaming big. Hope means taking the difficult but more loving path, one sure step at a time, and enjoining others to move with you towards the same direction. In times of great trial and hardship, hope brings like-minded individuals together in the spirit of community and transformation. And at the office of the Vice President, we have seen how collaboration, fueled by hope, can transform the lives of our people. I know that you at the Society of Jesus believe in the value of building and harnessing these partnerships. Even before COVID-19, we at the OVP have been working with different Ateneo schools around the country and bringing assistance to our communities, from livelihood assets and medical missions to disaster response and putting up the Angat Buhay village in Marawi City. We are also very fortunate to have worked with you through your psycho-spiritual programs with the Community-Based Drug Rehab Alliance. Today, the Ateneo de Manila University, Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, and the Tanging Yaman Foundation, led of course by Father Manuling, are very active partners in our relief and rehabilitation efforts for those affected by the recent typhoons. Thank you for choosing to be with us in this journey, showing that generosity and commitment to selfless service have always been interwoven into the Jesuit formation. You inspire us to work harder, push further, and aim higher in every aspect of our duties, to widen our circles of compassion and heed the call to be men and women for and with others. This is the same spirit behind our anti-poverty program, Angat Buhay, which literally means to uplift lives. We believe that it is through effective partnerships and community engagements that we can come up with the best solution to any problem. That so much more can be done if we work together with open hearts and willing hands, and that the work requires all hands on deck. As some of you might already know, the OVP has a limited mandate and has one of the smallest budgets in the entire bureaucracy. So when we assumed office 4 years ago, I told my staff that we cannot let 6 years pass by doing mere ceremonial work. So we decided to reinvent our mandate and make our office more advocacy heavy. Our vision is simple, that for every family we help, an entire community can break free from poverty. Our measure for success is not just the quantity of people we help or the number of communities we visit, but the depth and sustainability of the help we are able to give. The question we always ask ourselves, is the community far better than when we first found it? For 4 years now, our experience shows how networks of collaboration can help us make sure steps forward by imparting knowledge and guidance through capacity building, trainings, and concrete support like gadgets for schools, dormitories, and farming equipment, through linking communities with partners who are eager to help, through providing access to wider markets. The goal, to forge sustainable initiatives that breed empowerment and redound to the next generation. For example, in the area of education, we were able to put up 81 classrooms nationwide. But when we found out that dropout rates are very high in places where students had to walk very far just to go to school, we built dormitories in those areas. So today we have 9 dorms in some of the most far-flung places in the country. And these were all made possible by the generosity of our private partners. Another project that we are really proud of, as I mentioned earlier, is the Angat Buhay Village in the war-torn Marawi City. We broke ground in March 2018, and by July of the same year, we turned over 60 houses to those living in evacuation centers. In the following year, we added 12 additional houses. When the families moved in last July 2019, their tears mingled with relief at having security, privacy, and dignity as they tried to heal from the trauma of the war. A total of 72 transitory shelters were constructed, 72 families sheltered, all made possible by our partners from the private sector, including, of course, Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan. The spirit of leveraging the know-how of our networks to address the needs of communities has driven our programs even before the pandemic. And this is precisely the same reason that we are able to do all of our COVID-19 response initiatives and typhoon relief and rehabilitation efforts today. There are more inspiring examples of these partnerships in the last few months. Partnerships made possible by putting hope into action. Last March, with the help of our Angat Buhay partner, the Kaya Natin movement, we launched an online donation drive that would fund urgent needs of our frontliners, PPEs, medical supplies, and food and care packages. We also got to tap local dressmakers and community-based sewers to produce more affordable PPE sets, and we partnered with doctors to make sure they are safe. With the help of private partners, we provided shuttle buses and temporary shelters for our health workers. We still regularly distribute food to communities in need, and we source a large part of it from local farmers. In partnership with the local governments of Quezon City, Pasig, Muntinlupa, and Zamboanga City, we also rolled out community marts, a digital palengke delivery service that aims to help market vendors and tricycle drivers improve their income. As we addressed one gap, we discovered others and moved to fill them. After the Department of Education announced the shift to the blended learning modality in June, we immediately launched Bayanihan Eskwela. It began with a simple gadget donation drive, but eventually branched out into 3 other initiatives given the enormity of the need. First, we teamed up with academics and creatives who gave their time and skills pro bono to produce instructional videos which help both students and parents adjust to blended learning. Second, we are also setting up community learning hubs, safe spaces that follow health protocols with volunteer tutors, learning tools and supplies, and an internet connection for children who do not have gadgets of their own or might find it hard to adjust to distance learning. And third, we are also conducting more intensive teacher training initiatives with the help of private partners. As of now, we have an ongoing partnership with Pasig LGU for the training of all public and private school teachers and DepEd Region 5 for the training of teachers for online and modular teaching. Just last Monday, we also launched the Introduction to Online Teaching course with ACAD Asia to help provide skills and techniques for our teachers in the transition to distance learning. We also reached out to those who were recently unemployed because of the pandemic. We launched sikap.ph, an online jobs matching platform for blue-collar workers, and iskaparate.com to help small business owners gain an online presence. With the help of USAID and Philippine Business for Education, we're also opening doors for out-of-school youth through training programs. All of this we were able to do and more because so many individuals reached out to us. Our approach, as what we have been doing in the past 4 years, to take these windows of opportunity when they open, or at times raising the curtains ourselves, opening the windows ourselves so that the light can come in. Today, we are called to share and shine this light wherever we go, to be this light for others so that they can see more clearly that there is still hope even in the most difficult times. In the field of medicine, promising developments in the race for COVID-19 vaccine give us hope that this outbreak can be stopped. For the Church, fostering hope means intensifying our efforts, leaning towards groundedness as we build a better normal. For example, one of our partners, the Redemptorist Church in Baclaran, has been giving refuge and sanctuary to locally stranded individuals who are unable to go home because of quarantine measures. This is also something that we can do when we return to our own communities, perhaps by opening more churches as quarantine facilities or dormitories for frontliners. You can also use your platforms and tap your networks in spearheading communications campaigns that promote health and safety protocols. Help students cope with the new normal of learning by opening internet hubs in churches themselves. Open our spaces for students where they can study and provide not only their educational needs, but also much needed spiritual support. This role of the Church, of building a community of faith, of finding ways to build communion and harmony in the midst of uncertainty, becomes even more necessary with the current crisis as our background. Because if there is anything that this pandemic has taught us, it is this. The greater the challenge, the greater the imperative for us to contribute, to be involved, and to extend our reach to help. No effort is too small. Every step inches us closer to our collective goal. And like I always say, the Church has been most effective when it finds ways to connect with its people, when it stands with the rest of its flock, with empathy, fearlessness, and compassionate resolve. The task will be bigger and more challenging as the days pass. But I take comfort in knowing that the Church is here to guide us and illuminate our paths for others to follow, to constantly remind us of what it means to be men and women for others by tending to the most vulnerable. That with the spirit of our bayanihan and our faith in the Almighty, we will overcome. I would like to end with a few lines from a Jesuit prayer attributed to Sir Francis Drake, and I quote, "Disturb us, O Lord, to dare more boldly, to venture on wider seas, where storms will show your mastery. Where losing sight of land, we shall find the stars. We ask you to push back the horizons of our hopes and to push into the future in strength, courage, hope, and love." Close quote. Thank you very much. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.